Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. I recorded so you can see the balls going. I'll be right back. I gotta go fetch a dog. Thanks, Ghost, for getting my attention.
Oh no, brown cow. Should I keep beatboxing? No.
Oh, that's so cute.
What's the kitty cat?
Sorry. We have a dog that only listens to me.
Fun.
My husband's out there. He's like, God, nothing. And then I walk out there, Augustus, no, friend, sitter. And there he comes. I'll let the dog go. And I'm like, my kids love the dogs.
Oh, that's
All
awesome.
right. Apparently my kids are here. Hi, kids.
Hey, kids.
All right. Well, that kind of works out. Did anything happen while I was gone?
No, you got up, walked away, and that ball stopped.
Oh, and I came back in and it started again. So I guess it's the welcome party.
Uh-huh.
But since I already hit record, I guess we'll just jump in. Welcome back, everybody. Hi, kids. Apparently, my kids are very happy right now, and they're really coming to say hey to Kevin. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to go ahead, because this is my show and I do what I want, bitches.
As you should.
Yeah, right. I am going to turn my little box on here and see if they want to say anything. I'll just keep it over here. And if anything crazy happens, I will let you know. Make sure it's up. All right, that one's good. Keep my ear out so I can hear. That's really interesting because that ball didn't go off the entire time we just recorded with you.
Yep.
We had a chat in between. So I told them it was okay to come out and play if they wanted to. So apparently they took it to heart. With me today is the awesome Kevin. And it's going again. So Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are. He's been on the show before, but just because, if you wouldn't mind, Kevin, letting everybody out there know who you are, what you do, where to find you, all this good stuff. It's your time to shine.
All right. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for being on my show. Every time I get to talk to you, it's a lot of fun. You have a knack of making me smile and laugh, so I appreciate that a lot. Anybody that I can converse with that makes me feel good, I love having them close. So you're definitely one of those people. So I appreciate you very much. I appreciate your show. Love your show. But yes, my name's Kevin. I am the host of Where the Weird Ones Are podcast. It's a conversational based podcast where I talk to people about their personal encounters dealing with paranormal, cryptids, aliens, UFOs, which aliens, UFOs are given when you say aliens. I don't know why I always make them seem separate, but
there could be a difference. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I discuss spirituality a lot and mental health. I'm really big on. When you have these weird encounters, strange encounters, you don't want to tell anybody, you feel crazy.
Yep.
So mental health plays a big part in this community, I feel like. So I love touching on that a lot. And conspiracies, like you're into conspiracies and you like people have this really weird, this is going to happen. Like they'll be like, oh, I can see this happening in the near future. And then it happens. And then they're like, dude, I feel like I'm going crazy. Nobody fucking believes me. Everybody keeps telling me I'm a lunatic. So.
Oh my gosh, my box just said cryptid. Huh? Oh, that's so funny.
That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, that's the show. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and on YouTube. So that's where you can find the show.
Awesome. Well, I love having you on. Apparently, my spirits are digging you. And I think it's really funny because before I recorded with you, which by the way, go check out a show because I was just on there too. This is going to come out in a few weeks though. So go backwards. You're going to be going back a few weeks to find it.
Yep.
But this ball, but it wasn't even this ball. It was the top ball was going crazy right before we recorded. And then we switched to your host or your recording. That's still going. Holy crap. And then now that we're back recording here, this ball, my kid's ball is just going bananas. And what's funny is that my app just said cryptid. And the last time you were on, we talked about a cryptid.
Yep.
And then dreams. That's what it just said. So yeah. Oh, yep. So oh my gosh, this is crazy. Every time you're on, I swear it's. I don't know who Steven is. This one's Steven. Hi, Steven.
Hello, Steven.
That's funny. Okay, so Steven's here. Hi, Steven. I thought it was my kids, but maybe it's not.
Maybe.
I never had a kid named Steven. I probably would never name my kid. No offense, Steven. Would never name my kid Steven.
Me neither. and that is with offense.
And it was Steven with a V. To specify.
Yep.
But I'm really glad that you pointed out how much that you enjoy and you like to talk about the mental health aspect, because being a person who suffers so much with mental health issues, and I have my entire life, it's nice to have that. And like you said, a lot of really weird stuff happens to me all the time. Enough that, well, whatever it is, it's eternal. But it's like I have repeatedly proven to myself, hi, Steven. It's repeatedly been proven to me and everybody else that it happens. It's true. It's a thing. It's not like a one-off. It says you're charming.
Thank you.
I don't know what stanic means. Do you know what that means?
No,
It
not
just
off the
used
top
a word
of my
I
head.
don't know. I don't know what my ghost is trying to tell me. Have you been before? Yes, he's been here before. You guys are going to have to let me get my episode done or we're going to have to turn you off. Although I appreciate you guys visiting. Is that even a word? Stanic. With a warm and human note.
Is a Slavic surname that can be put. Man, you guys are giving me fucking some words that I can't pronounce. Patronymic or metronymic. Patronymic is a short form of a name, Stanislav, or a Slavic name. So it's basically it's somebody's last name.
So maybe.
Steven Stanek.
Steven Stanek. That's a cool name. Well, hi, Steven Stanek. Welcome to the show. Well, it keeps saying the name of a friend of mine. I've gotten it 3 times now. So, yeah, that's interesting. He'll probably appreciate hearing that. But anyway, again, like I was saying, so many times it happens over and over. It's not a one-off thing, but I still catch myself being, am I crazy? Even to the point where I've repeatedly asked my doctor, am I schizophrenic? Because I'm seeing things that aren't, well, that other people, not that they're not there, but I'm seeing things that other people can't. I'm hearing things that other people can't. I'm feeling things that other people can't. What's wrong with me? And they stigmatize everything to make you seem like you're crazy, even though it's a real thing. So I like to get the word out there and touch base on it. And it's going to have a lot to do with what we talk about today.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is exactly why I custom picked this little topic for you. By the way, it's been in here for 6 months with your name on it.
No shit.
Yep. True story,
That's
bro.
crazy. I've cried with so many guests on my show, or they'll say something, they'll tell their story and I'll just cry.
Yep.
And I just can't help myself sometimes.
Oh.
I've told
I'm a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah. Yes, you are. I know. I can feel your energy.
I, for somebody who cares so much, I don't
You
care.
don't show it. You don't allow it affect you. The thing with you is that you don't allow it to
No.
affect you, but you do show that you show people that you care with your words and the things that you do.
Yeah. Well, so my thing too is because of the things that are different with me, I feel everybody else.
Right.
So I don't sometimes, which is weird for me to say, but I'm sure there's people out there that understand this. I don't like when people are like, well, what do you want or what do you feel? I'm like, I don't know. All I know is what's around me. I don't
Mm.
even know if do I even have feelings? Do I even have emotions? I don't think I do. I don't have very many, if any, which is weird because I have one side of me that feels everything and can pick up on energy and emotions and all of this stuff. But the other side of me, yes, we're on video, is dead. Like it doesn't, like there's a disconnect. So it's weird that half my brain functions as no emotion and the other half is everybody else's. So it's, I never know. I got absolutely. So it's agreeing with me, whatever it is. Thanks. But it is very weird. And I know there's a lot of stuff where I can relate to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I got a lot of problems. And a bitch ain't one. But I just, oh, there's, right, is what it
Oh
says.
my god.
But it's just something that I like to dive into and just talk about and give people, like, I know that you advocate a lot for it. And I have a spot on my website as well where people can go on and there's like suicide hotline, there's domestic abuse hotlines. I try to put a bunch of stuff out there to allow people that even if somebody stumbles across my website for whatever reason, it's there in case they need it.
Right.
But that being said, though, we're not sacrificing nothing, y'all. Something in here really like sacrifices. It keeps talking about it and suffocating.
Not cool, bro.
Yeah. But again, check the description out because I'm going to have all of Kevin's links in there. I'm going to have my resources in there. There's just going to be all kinds of good shit in there. So go check it out and make sure that you give him some love. That being said, at the end, you missed an opportunity, sir, and you did not talk about your hot sauce, but we will do that later. Remind me because I have a short attention span.
Listen. Yeah, I'm terrible at plugging myself a lot, so
Well,
I
I'm
just
really
talk
good
about
at
my
this.
show.
I spray you all over everywhere. I'm just always like, Kevin's hot sauce this, Kevin's hot. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Let's see. The sauce isn't all that's hot, guys. Check out the Patreon feed. Shameless plug. Oh, I liked it too. We have a very active little guy here, so definitely go check out this episode. Now, let's take a minute. And I just want to set the stage here. Just about everyone from any background can identify a very prominent posse that consists of a giggling bear, shy swine, a bouncing tiger, a moping donkey, and a very skeptical rabbit. And if anybody can't figure out who I'm talking about, they need to go for a walk through the 100-acre woods until they come across a tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff. We're talking about Winnie the Pooh, y'all. Oh, oh, geez. To go away. I was not happy about that one. Now, let's think about this. A lot of people are like, huh, you said mental health. What the
Yes.
hell does Winnie the Pooh have to do with mental health?
Well, imaginary friends.
Well, yes. Ironically, I just got done talking on your episode, I do believe. I mentioned that I don't normally do a lot of conspiracies. Well, guess what? I'm doing one today.
Yeah. Christopher Robin's a murderer? Is this what we're talking about?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Now we're combining conspiracy theories, mental health, and Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
It's going to be a good time.
I'm here for it.
So there's actually more than one conspiracy theory about this childhood sweetheart. Although I am wondering why none of them wear pants.
Well, they're stuffed animals. I don't think I've ever really seen
Well, then
stuffed
why do you have a
animals wear
t-shirt on?
pants. I don't know. I've always seen, I don't know. Man, I
Build-A-Bear
guess the
dropped the
fuck's
ball.
up.
Actually, doesn't Rue wear a shirt too? The little baby kangaroo? It's
Yes,
Kanga.
yes.
Kanga's the mom and Rue's the baby, right?
Yeah. And Kanga only, does she wear an apron?
I think she does wear an apron around her little pouch, right?
Yeah, I think.
But I don't know why Rabbit, Tigger, and
R-
Eeyore don't wear clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're going to start with the fact that many people believe that the characters in the book represent untreated mental illnesses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, the National Library of Medicine actually has a statement on this, and it's all broke down. So, we're just going to go down the line by character. We're going to start with Winnie the Pooh. The clinical disorders that were identified are ADHD and OCD.
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense. It tracks. Guess what? I have ADHD. It tracks. Then it breaks it down
Oh,
to,
bother.
I know, oh, bother. So I get a little possessed every I did it again. I did it on your show too, didn't I?
Yes.
Personality and mental retardation. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I don't know what else to call it. But there's borderline intellectual functioning, which is where your brain is physically a little small. And I don't know where they drew that from. Maybe just his actions and his behavior and his personality kind of corresponds with those people that suffer from that. I'm not sure, but it's in there. Then,
Yeah, he has no urgency about him. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know a
He's
few people like
just-
that.
Yeah. He's
Just
just
like,
he's unbothered by a lot of
Yeah.
things. He cares. His heart's in the right place, but like a lot of people, it just doesn't. To mentally handicapped people,
Yeah.
or what we perceive from handicapped people, they might care, but it doesn't seem like they do. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like there's a disconnect on how to display.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now, he's also got some general medical abnormalities that they pointed out. Obviously, poor diet. All he does is eat sugar.
Yep.
He's obese, obviously, from eating all that sugar. And they mark him down as being a binge eater.
Right.
We're getting
But-
directions. This guy says, keep recording. Got it. We're recording.
Thank you. Thank you for your permission.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, bears are known for eating honey.
Yeah.
And eating to an excess because of hibernation and shit. So
Yeah.
I get it. I get what they're, because his character is still a bear.
Yeah. And to me, it's interesting because it's like, for a bear, like you said, it is normal to have a phase in the year where you eat, you pack it on, you hibernate, you come out skinny. I wish I could do that. But in Winnie the Pooh, there's no hibernating. There's no,
That's true. It's true.
there's no, none of that. But those are what's attributed to Winnie the Pooh.
Yep.
Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit on some Piglet here. And yeah, his clinical disorders are listed as generalized anxiety
Mm-hmm.
and, oh my gosh, dysthymic. I'm sorry, I suck at pronouncing stuff, which is persistent depressive disorder.
Yep.
He's also got general medical abnormality, which is failure to thrive. So Piglet's always tiny. He's always the runt. And he is very anxious a lot of times. And just, I think it makes sense.
Yeah. He clings to Pooh as a leader.
Security
you know what I mean?
blankie.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
They have Halloween movies and shit where Piglet is hiding all the time.
Mhm.
Even the regular show, he's very timid and
Yeah.
scared all the time.
And you might
That's-
see like a piece of him instead of the whole thing. And he never really speaks his mind. He's quiet. He
Ye-
talks to his toes.
Yep. Yeah.
There wasn't as much on him. Now, Obviously, we can all assume Eeyore.
Right.
His
Suicide.
his clinical disorder is again the that one, the D one. And I don't mean Dallas. The anxiety or the persistent depressive disorder. There we go. That's easier.
Yes.
Then there's traumatic amputation of his tail.
Uh-huh.
So he's like rockets of PTSD. And then he has psychosocial complications, which is he's homeless. He has no home. Out of all the animals there, he has no home.
Yep. He's always
Oh.
the one rebuilding and
Yep.
losing.
Yep. And that's something that I thought was interesting because even when people factor in psychological and mental health type stuff, they don't usually tackle that particular aspect. And now, granted, in real life, outside of Winnie the Pooh, there's a lot of times where it's like a chicken and the egg kind of situation. Is it they're homeless and they're having a hard time functioning because of their mental health issues? Or is the lack of a house, the lack of job, the lack of luck, whatever, like basically increasing their complications with their mental health? So it is
Right.
chicken and the egg. And then either way, you're pouring gasoline on a fire. So,
Mhm.
which is rather unfortunate. But now we move on to my man, T-I-double-G, or Tigger. Oh, what are you like? Growing up, he was my favorite. I had a 3-foot tall stuffed Tigger.
I
that
think
I
I
wear.
love Tigger. I honestly think everybody loved Tigger. I liked Eeyore, but I think everybody
Well,
had a thing for Tigger.
I have a lot in common with Tigger. So Tigger has ADHD,
Right.
hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Me being bipolar with ADHD is exactly that. So we have the same problems. I get it. Now, it does also list Kanga. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's go backwards because I totally skipped one.
And you skipped Rabbit.
I did skip Rabbit. Technically, I didn't skip him. We're not done yet. I could have put him anywhere I wanted.
True
But I
that.
did skip him. I will admit it. Am I a ghost? Watch us.
Well, I
Well,
can't see you.
Yes,
If
we
you're a
can't
ghost,
see
I
you.
can't fucking see you, bro.
If you hit the lights, we can know where you're at, but we can't see you. But anyway, so Rabbit only has one thing listed, and that's narcissistic personality disorder, which tracks.
Very controlling, yeah.
Yes, and now granted, I feel like they gave him this grumpy old man persona.
Yeah.
So to label it with like a narcissistic personality disorder, I feel like that's like a kick in the teeth for old people,
True.
or
You got a point there.
kicking the dentures,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I would say I wouldn't call it. Me personally, I wouldn't say it's narcissist. It's because I will control. Being controlling is and wanting things your way is a narcissistic trait. Yes, but I wouldn't call his character and all of his personality traits narcissistic.
Exactly, and because I feel like now, granted, it's been a long time. There were episodes where Rabbit did make the right decision to help a friend
Right.
reluctantly, but he still did it. I feel like if you're truly narcissistic, well, okay, correction. I think my brain is thinking sociopath, not narcissist. I feel like those are actually there's enough of a distinguishment there to differentiate.
Yeah. He was Squidward of Winnie the Pooh.
Is
Like he cares, but he doesn't care. Just like you said earlier.
Yep.
He has that. He does care about his friends, even though he doesn't like to call them his friends, but they are his friends. But he's a homebody. He doesn't like to do things that he's uncomfortable with.
maybe I'm more like Rabbit now than Tigger.
Yeah.
However, if we look at it this way, though, even though he did do things, but what if he did it not to help the friend, but simply to keep everybody else off his damn back if he didn't do it. Therefore, making it roundabout narcissist.
The narcissist, yeah.
Because I've been known to be like, I don't want to do this for you, but I don't want to fucking hear about it.
That's not really narcissism to me.
Like I don't know. I just feel like it's selfish to be.
Yeah, yes, but I don't know.
Nah, I don't know.
But then again, people who are narcissists don't know they're narcissists, and they
That is
just
a good point.
they do the shit that they do out of yeah, they don't
Like
think about
like
it.
a
So like, if you're thinking like I should do this so that I don't have to hear them bitch about it later, that's to me isn't narcissist. They would I don't know. They just wouldn't do it, or they would do
that's
it
just asshole.
just without thinking about it. Yeah, they're like,
Good point.
it's just a fucking mechanism in their brain. Like, I just need to be a dick.
But what if you can acknowledge your narcissism? I feel like sociopaths are the ones that do it out of reflex and don't know. They don't know they're a sociopath because that's just how they are. But what if it's narcissist? Like, I feel like narcissism sometimes people know. They know that they're being destructive. They know, but they don't care.
Yeah. There are people on fucking TikTok that know that they're a narcissist. Yeah.
I have occasionally been known to be like, yeah, I don't care about you or anything. I only care about me, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Well, at the same time, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's
That's
okay
true.
to take care of you. It's like, it's the thing that the problem is with all these like labels and shit is that fucking most of us have these traits. The majority of people have a lot of these traits that can be labeled narcissistic or depressive or fucking anxiety ridden and or ADHD and shit. And we're really not. It's just, you know.
I got a good example if that helps.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, for instance, again, I'm bipolar, and I know that I have triggers, and I can see you. Thanks. I know what triggers me. I know what to do, what not to do, all the stuff. Eh, How much sleep I need to get. I can't stay up. I can't do this. I can't do that. There's a bunch of bipolar, especially if you're treating it and you're treating it properly, it's very high maintenance. And it never actually goes away completely. You still have to be vigilant to be like, hey, maybe I'm still going a little up or a little down. It's just not as bad or unpredictable as usual. Like I see it, like I see the train wreck coming.
Yeah.
But I have to watch it. It's one of those things. But so on one hand, I make decisions. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help this. I'm not going to meet you after whatever. And people are like, wow, you're just a narcissistic bitch. When in reality, all I'm doing is trying to do some self-preservation. I know, for instance, say my husband wants to go on, he always wants to go to the movies. I can't go to the movies. It is loud. It is a lot of lights. It's a lot of movement. And it's a lot of people that I can't see.
Yep.
So one, bipolar problem is an issue because light and movement are triggers. If it's a lot, it's overwhelming. Two, I have PTSD because I've been assaulted. So I don't like being in a room full of people that I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And three, I was born with ear problems that they put stuff in my ears so many times that they actually put too much scar tissue in that they couldn't fix it anymore. They just did more damage than good. So a lot of loud and like bassy sounds physically hurts my ears. And I can't do it. Like if I ever go to the movies, I have to wear earplugs.
Wow.
Because I just can't. So where there's certain things that I won't do this, I won't do that. It's just because I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to go to the movies. I'm not going to go. I don't like to go to the grocery store. I don't like to do a lot of things.
Yeah, that's not narcissism. That's you taking care of yourself. You don't want to be in a situation that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, and
or
it's just
so.
something that, like you said, is misperceived.
Yeah.
Well, then, who's this? We're gonna move on down to Miss Kanga. So she has some psychosocial complications, but that's all that's listed here. So she's a single parent. She's
Yeah.
unemployed, and she's a
Mhm.
bit of a helicopter mom.
Yes, that's for
Like
sure.
a lot.
That is.
Very overprotective. Which kind of goes into a lot of people nowadays that don't have jobs and they're a single parent and kids are just nuts. Kids are nuts.
Yeah.
But those are hers. Rue is not mentioned at all.
Well,
But
his characteristics are just child anyway. That everything is just a normal child to me, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
he's pretty innocent. I don't see anything that I can remember that would be troublesome. He's a normal kid. He sometimes gets into trouble. He doesn't listen or whatever, but it's not anything like violent or he's not going to go through the 100-acre woods and just start massacring everybody.
yeah,
Unless they do
exactly.
a remake in the 21st century and they ruin everything.
Wish they could do that. They did make a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I saw
I
previews
mean,
for it. And
either.
I was like, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah, there's a Grinch horror movie too, which is really
What?
weird. Yeah,
This
they
is
both
plausible.
they both came out around the same time too. I think last year, or around this time actually, or maybe it was 2022. Either way,
Huh.
it was either last year or 2022.
I'm
But
probably not going to watch it.
I'm not. I'm most likely not. Well, I might, just to be like, what kind of buffoonery is this? But
Yeah.
at this point in time, I have zero desire to watch either one of those.
Oh,
But yeah,
no.
but yeah, I would say a lot of people these days are very helicopter parents. They on the news every day,
Yeah.
all the bullshit. So like I
Well,
can
and two, yeah, they're helicopters, but we've made them that way.
exactly. Everybody's all the world is so has gone to shit. You can't let your kids ride there, be out until the freaking street lights come on. It's always been that way. We just see more of it. We're aware of it at
Hmm.
this point, which is what has caused the inside kids. So like people that stay inside all the time tend to be more sick and they get
Yeah.
sick easier. They tend to have more mental health issues and stuff like that because we're not meant to be inside. We were like,
Yeah.
it's just that we're causing our own issues. We're not meant to be sitting here staring at screens all day long either.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're meant to experience the world, the outside. We're supposed to be outside more often than not. So
Yeah.
I think that also has, especially nowadays, has contributed to mental health issues.
1,000,000% agree. And the way I look at it is think of it this way also. If you take a wild animal and you put it in a cage, even if it's a really big cage, it's still a cage.
Yep.
After so much time, you can literally look these animals in the eye and you can see the diminishment of everything that they are. You can literally look at their faces and see them die a little every day. And after a few years of captivity, they get sick and they don't do it. One good one is like great white sharks cannot physically be in captivity. They will die.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how much room you give them to roam, you can't do it.
Yep.
They just can't. And I feel even though, yeah, we're human and we're different, but to be fair, we are animals just like everything else. We're just really intelligent animals. Well, most of us are really intelligent. Oh, it says that I was being sweet. You're welcome. We're animals too. And I feel like if you lock us in a cage and you restrict people, it's just It'll break you down, even if you don't mean to. And I feel like that's a lot is I get in that rut too sometimes where I'm home and I don't leave because everything's so busy and everything gets so chaotic that whenever I have downtime, I stay down. But when I'm down and I don't force myself up, it just keeps, I just dig a bigger hole, just deeper and deeper. And it's really hard to get out of that rut. And sometimes you got to have somebody come pull you out. So check on your friends, check on your family.
Absolutely.
If you haven't heard
Absolutely.
from somebody, call them just to be like, yo, or stop by. Because I know with me, sometimes if you just come by and hang out, that's all I need. Like
Yeah.
enough to get me up and then I can get jump started and get going.
Yeah, especially if they live and work in a city. Like you're home, you're inside, freaking a couple floors up. You go to work, you're inside sitting at a desk. You're
Yep.
constantly inside. I think that's why people in city areas are so fucking terrible to deal with.
I feel like genetically, even though we are programmed to be, we're not solitary
Right.
by any means. We're more village, close knit, smaller groups. And even when, like way back in the day, when populations would get to a certain point, they would break off and they would expand and then create their own villages. I feel like too, it's when you're in that city environment or stuff like that, it's still not natural. Aside from just being inside, when you go outside, it's literally of like a wilderness, so to speak.
The concrete jungle
Yes, thank you. That's what I
out
was trying to
there.
think of.
Yeah.
And it really is. I mean, noise and smells and movement and nothing's ever. It's like, okay, go to Vegas. It never stops,
Mhm.
ever. So think about what that does to somebody mentally. You're literally inside, usually, all the time.
Yep.
It's a stupid. That goes, one goes, oh. So one says stupid, one said disagree, and then set the ball off.
Interesting.
But it's just something where if you're constantly, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Find it. I don't know.
Overstimulated. You're constantly overstimulated. Then that too has the same effect or just as bad of an effect as being a hermit. Because you need that time to rest. You need that time to recoup.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we skipped one little guy. So we didn't really skip him. We got a little sidetracked there. Christopher Robin is also mentioned. And
Wait, what about the owl?
he wasn't listed either.
Oh, okay.
But Christopher Robin is listed as obviously schizophrenic.
Yes.
Now, that's the lighter conspiracy. I found one that gets a little dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. But it says some fans think that Christopher Robin is actually a war vet that withstood injuries caused by the blast of a mine that ultimately put him in a very deep coma. While he remains in this coma, he starts to picture himself as the beloved Christopher Robin, and the other characters slowly come into the fold. After much time, his dream state he begins to realize that the characters are actually the nicknames that were given to his brothers in arms while he was over there. And that his brain, suffering from extreme PTSD, turned them into cartoons that just continue to encourage him that it's time to go, implicating that he should wake up from his coma. What are your thoughts on that?
That tracks too.
Oh my gosh, it literally just said dildo.
What the fuck?
But anyway, yeah.
I could see that as well. Or
And I
the
mean,
the thing that PTSD does to our brains is just
This is reasonable.
it's unfathomable. Like sometimes
Mhm.
some people can go way off the deep end, and some
Yep.
people aren't as affected. But
hmm
we, you don't know. Have you been in a coma?
I've never been in a coma. I've died, but I've
Right,
never been in a coma.
right.
But suffering from PTSD, I know that it's different for everyone.
Right.
And I've known a lot of people that come back from overseas, and each one's different.
Mhm.
And I feel like this kind of tracks, in my opinion, mainly because the characters in the show are very personable. Sometimes while you're watching, you could almost lose yourself that thinking that they're not really animals, like they're actual people. Like they have that humanity still in them. And if that's the case, because we're all different, it makes sense that if everyone in his unit, they probably had similar attributes.
Yeah.
And maybe it says did, they did.
Yeah.
But that would make sense that they would then characterize them in their head. And there's a lot of times too, like people that do get really messed up, they come back and they see things from human to cartoons or people were out to get them or a whole slew of things. Mine's not as much visual as it is auditory. I've got some triggers that I had actually, I wish I could, I can't even, this is it. I cannot remember what it was, but I was doing something at work and something happened. I don't know if it was a song or a show. Something happened and I just froze. It was like everything inside me just shut off.
No.
And it freaked everybody else out because like I was in the middle of doing something and having a conversation and then it was just like full on robot mode.
Yeah.
Everything just turned off and they were like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I need to not be here. I need to go. And or I could hear a song or a jingle or something and immediately I just want to vomit. And it's like everything just goes black and I just
Yeah.
freeze. I was driving through town and there was a construction area and I just so happened to glance over as I was driving by and the person working on the construction site, I don't know if it is the same guy. I don't know. But the moment I saw him, it was enough like him that my heart just dropped. My palms were sweating. I was nauseous. I was shaking. And everything was telling me just run. And I have no idea. I still, I've driven by a few times and I've tried, but I can't get myself to get close enough to know, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, makes
enough
sense.
about it to, yep. And it's enough about it to just start, it just throws the flags and it's everything is like run as fast
Mhm.
as you can or hit him with your car. But I really wanted to hit him with my car, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
And this has been almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I feel you. I got a lot of things too. Maybe not as violent as something like that, but or I don't know your story exactly, but
Yeah.
I get the gist. When I was a kid, my mom was super abusive, but then she'd be really sweet, and then she'd be
Yeah.
super abusive, and then she'd be really sweet. So finding a partner, it was really hard for me because there'd be like, so when somebody was always sweet, I was
You
like,
would
this is
wait for the
weird.
ball to drop.
Yeah, and I was always like, "This is weird," and then I would end up ruining it myself. But then when I was with a partner that had that, I was sweet, I'm sweet, and then I'm fucking
Sour.
chaos and gonna fuck you up. I was like, I So my first girlfriend in high school, she was physically abusive, and wanted to cling on to her
Hmm.
for dear life. Like I was just like, I can't let her go and stuff like that. Because when she was sweet, she was over the moon sweet. Like she
Yeah.
was amazing.
To compensate.
Yeah, and then the girl that I was just with not too long ago, well, a couple years ago now, she was great, especially in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, it got really gross, and I held on to her for 4 years,
Yeah.
and I kept myself in it. And now we put that's just part of my, I guess, my trauma was clinging on something that was so familiar with for so many years that became comfortable to me. And now I
It's
know 100% that I'm not freaking comfortable with it. So I'm not going to subject myself to that shit anymore. And I just, I can't deal with if there's somebody who I don't know, it's like really quick now when I can sense somebody's
Yep.
intentions and shit like that. And it's almost, I don't want to deal with this. Or it could be just a friend or and not like a intimate relationship. But there's been females that I've gone on dates with and stuff that I just feel like this like attribute. And I'm like, if I get
Yeah.
with them, there's going to be some nasty fights.
Yeah.
Or this girl, this one time I was talking to her, I can't tell you exactly what it was that kind of clued me into it, but she ended up telling me this one thing about her. She told me it's okay if you don't want to, see me or anything like that. It was herpes. She had herpes, she said.
Oh,
And she goes, but she gave me like this whole rundown. She's like, before we ever meet, I just want you to know this. And I'm like, okay. I thought about it, and it wasn't even that aspect, it was something else because I had already was like, "I don't know if I wanna deal with this girl," or whatever, and so she told me that, and I was like, and I told her, I said, "This is exactly how I said it." Maybe not exactly because
been a
it was
while.
3 years ago now,
Yeah.
but it went something like this: "I appreciate you telling me, con feeling comfortable enough to let me know." I was like, "Yeah, I appreciate that," before anything ever got physical. I was like, "But I have to be," 'cause she's, "It's okay if you don't want to." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Alright, she's gonna be an adult about it." So I know that n technically there's ways to go around it and stuff like that. I was like, "And I'm not telling you this because of this fact." I was like, I don't think I want to go any further than talking to you online." And she fucking lost her mind on me. And I was just like, all right, and I just deleted her.
Crazy. Yeah.
So like it was like something there in the back of my head that just was like, get away from this person. And it's been happening to
You know
me
what it
a
probably
lot
was?
more lately. What?
From somebody who usually gets a feel for it. It almost sounded like she was testing you.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
I'm gonna tell him that I have this because I want to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And
Which is,
then, yeah,
yeah. And that too is also a red flag in my opinion. You don't test somebody on stuff like that, especially somebody you haven't met. I don't know, it's weird. And then going on like so with me, I briefly mention it on my show once so far. And I don't really get into it because I haven't really felt like ready to talk about it. But I was, I was molested when I was 5, 6, 7. And there was a part of me during the time, like I thought, I knew it was wrong, but it felt okay to do,
yeah,
to be a part of. And then, so as a young adult, like I was chasing that feeling again. And I
I
think,
get it.
yeah. And then I was angry all the time. I was like, because when I was a teenager, I knew it was 100% wrong. And this person I never told on, and they weren't an adult. They were older, a few years older than me. So it makes me, sometimes I'm like, well, what happened to him?
Yeah.
like to make him do that to me.
And that's one thing too that I feel like you said with your mom was like that, and then you gravitated towards women that were like that. Because as much as we hate to admit it, you get used to what you know. To it's normal, right?
Or at least it
It's
feels normal.
in your mind. If you grow up like that, you don't know any better. Think about it. My biological father was just not there. Like it's just
Right.
he just wasn't, and it just became second nature. So it's whatever. Of course, everybody thinks that's why I like older dudes now. But it's just something that recollection. What we got.
Mm.
But it is something that I feel like, even though it's not good for you, but it's almost comfortable because even though it's not good, you know what to expect.
Right.
You
Right.
feel
It's like
better.
there's no surprise
Yeah. You feel
almost.
better being somewhat prepared.
Yeah.
Go, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it? I feel like that's why I have such a hard time when people are nice to me. It gives me this really weird feeling. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I fucking don't know what to say when somebody gives me a compliment
Oh,
or
well, then we
stuff
need to
like
talk more
that.
often because I give you nothing but compliments all the
I know you
time.
do. It makes me so uncomfortable, but I like them. I want them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I need to heal.
I do the same thing. Oh, see? So I do the same thing. People will say something and I'm like, if you say so,
Yeah.
thanks. But
Yeah.
inside, it's almost like you've just got bugs crawling on you. You just feel like you need to go shower because somebody gave you a compliment.
Hmm.
Or they give you a compliment and you're like, okay, what do you want from me? What are you expecting of me? Do I need to have a conversation with you? And I, time and time again, have done the exact. It's someone's nice consistently
Hmm.
and understanding. And you're like, the fuck is happening? And then you're like, no, it's supposed to be nice fight, nice fight. So I'm going to initiate the fight. I'm going to
Yep.
fight you because that's what's next. Then I expect you to be just as nice to me because you should understand the cycle.
Hmm.
But they don't understand the cycle sometimes. So then you just self destruct. I do the same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing. And one thing,
Hurt people, man.
yeah. And uh, so I have a weird confession. I'll confess it to podcast to all my listeners. God, dear Lord, here we go. So, okay, like what you said, that happened, and then you keep putting yourself in that position. After I was assaulted, it's like I wanted the people I was with to basically put me in the exact same situation. And I don't know if it was just I wanted to be in the situation, but have the control that I didn't have then. But it's just, there's something about it that is, I don't even know how to explain it. Like you would assume you would want to avoid that situation at all costs.
Hmm.
But it's okay, controlled environment, like here's a safe word, all this stuff.
To me, what you're saying is basically because you're with somebody that you're intimate with already, and you want them to put you in that situation so you can replace the face. You can replace you can replace the bad feeling with a good feeling with a face that you're uh,
That actually
essentially
makes a
somebody
lot
you
of
love.
that makes a lot of sense because I never put that together. And I was just like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do I want this to happen? I was like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And but I 100% agree with you that it's, and I think that's why as a whole, we see so many times people just repeating the cycle of abuse over and over. And what's unfortunate is people don't feel comfortable enough to get help. And because they aren't comfortable enough to get help, they never are given those tools to positively change themselves and the course that they're on.
Yeah. I spent a lot of my life just going, I'm sure you can attest to the same thing, just like you said earlier, self-destructing,
Mm.
chasing that same feeling. And I'm sure I've hurt a lot of people along the way. And there's a lot of things that I'm sure that I've done that are unforgivable in a way. And I can't take the person who I used to be back and like heal that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
I,
it's
yeah,
hard to heal when you realize that you need to, when you need to heal, you need to heal. Like when the voice calls to you, it's that time. And it's, it's easier. I think it's easier these days to get help because we can,
yeah,
especially, I feel like, I don't know, I think there's something different about the millennial generation. It almost seems like that this generation, that kids that growing up in the 90s, just have that fucking thing about them where we're just dropping generational trauma. We're not raising our kids the same way that we were
yeah,
raised. We're not beating the fuck out of our kids every night just because they didn't eat their dinner
yeah.
or something stupid like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
I don't.
sometimes too, I feel like maybe it is because we're in a weird gap, right? So anybody who's from like the mid 80s to the mid 90s,
Yeah.
we've seen and experienced tons of change. I'm talking technological change, research into the mental health stuff, access to mental health stuff, the Me Too movements, all of these things, and people coming out and getting courage. And it's like our generation just grew some balls and some big brass ones.
Mm.
And I've noticed that too. So it's like the generation before and after, not to say anything about them. It's just that's how they were raised. And I almost wonder if because you have mom stays home, cooks, cleans, takes it, has more babies. That's just what we do. Dad,
Yeah.
either he brings home the bacon and or goes over, fights, and then comes back with trauma that you don't talk about because you just don't. And then it's like a whole snowball thing. Now, then, yes, there's still some of that same stuff around, but then it shifted into there's more single parents. The Mr. Mom thing didn't happen till later. With women, it was women had to go work and they had to do this and they had to do that. And so we shifted, I feel, more so in like the 80s and the 90s away from that traditional structure in the family. And I
Yes.
feel like that alone, that break alone made everybody have to adapt.
Yeah.
Whether it for better or worse, we had to adapt. And with that, it was, well, now people are talking. Then you have the internet. Okay, cool. I'm not in this tiny town by myself with every cookie cutter house on the freaking block and every stay home Susie on the block. Shit, there's somebody 5 hours away from me that this is happening to you too. You don't think this is right? Okay, now we can communicate. And I
Yep.
feel like that just exploded. And then on top of that, you have the research, and people have been putting a lot. Like I donated to NAMI for the research for mental health and
Yep.
their research and stuff because there's all kinds of the treatments are different. And we're still, I feel like we're still not where we need to be. We're still a little stigmatized as far as getting help. There's a lot of people that I meet that I'm very open. I'm weird. So I don't meet a lot of people. And actually, everybody else says that they don't meet a lot of people like me either. And I am very open and I'll talk to you about it. I'll tell you what's wrong with me. I'll tell you what I need to get help. Hell, I'll give you my doctor's number. a website. I will be like, here, yeah, like I am more fucked up than you, lady. Let me get you some help. And being able to do that, I've actually had a lot of people that had told me I would never, ever have said anything to anybody had you not talked to me. And just having that, and if we had more people out there doing that and getting more reach and having the people that are giving the help give the right help for the right reasons.
Yes.
Give them
Yes.
the right help. Don't fuck around and beat around the bush, blah, 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 because you're just doing more damage.
Mm. Yeah. I did. I started doing therapy a couple of years ago, and it started out as couples therapy with my ex-girlfriend. And because I clued her into, she's asking me, tell me the things that traumatized you and stuff like that. So it ended up like being the first time to tell somebody. And then I just feel like she didn't care. She's just, you're an idiot or something like that. But anyway, so we started seeing this therapist together for couples. And it came to a head one night. She wanted to talk to me. And I came into the bedroom and she's like, sit down. I was like, no. And she's like, sit down. And she saw it as like a power play, where
Yeah.
I saw it as a don't tell me what to do play.
Mm.
I don't want to do what you're telling me to do. And she saw it as me wanting to stand over her to be more powerful, which I guess got it. I can see that. But at the same time, especially when I'm gonna do something and then somebody tells me to do it, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm the same way.
So
With me too. Like if she comes at you and she's sit, my initial I'm not a fucking dog.
yeah,
You sit.
yeah,
No, like
exactly.
that. I was just telling somebody about this too. You can set something right in front of me. Don't say a word. Just leave it there. I will not think twice. I will leave it alone. I won't mess with it, whatever. The moment you say, don't touch that,
Don't touch it.
I am all over that shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it.
it's really weird. But so we sat down with this therapist because I was so reluctant to do it. I was like, I don't want to do this. She's, I want to stay with you, and I think we should do it. And this is like the last resort. And I was like, all right, well, if it's the last resort, I don't want to lose you. So we did it, and the therapist was like asking me why I didn't want to see a therapist, and I gave her my reasons. And I did anger management. I did a lot of therapy as a kid because my mom's like, there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with
Yeah.
him. I'm like, yeah, you're beating the shit out of me every day is what's wrong with me. I told her, and she's, well, I'm here to help you. I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to guide you and give you things to work on. She's, I'm not here to fix you. And that seems like that's what, and I just lost it. Like the minute she's like, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to help you. And
Yeah.
I just lost my mind. I started crying like crazy. I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
cried so hard from somebody that I didn't know, just saying something really minute.
Yeah. Well, and it's a totally different for me. And I tell people this all the time. It's not what you say. It's how you say it.
Mhm.
Because you can come at me one way and say something. And I mean, my husband's done this multiple times. And I'm finally getting to where I'm like realizing it's me. Like, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you need to reword what you're saying because I'm about to just rip your face off. I'm like, we find another way. And he was like, I said, this is what he's like, well, this is what I said. I said, this is what you said. This is what I heard. So we need to change this. And sometimes it's just like one word. And I'm like, I don't react well to this word. Replace it. And you could just put any other word in there that makes sense and it's fine. It's just something about, it could be like car and whatever reason, car just sets me off. But you could say truck and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff like that. And it's like how you say it. It's just, we all need to be comfortable enough and feel safe enough to also be able to point that out to people. My husband is the first person that I ever felt comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm pretty sure that this is not what you meant, but this is what I heard. Instead of most of the other times, I would just fly off the handle and they'd be like, "Oh my god, this bitch is crazy."
Yeah.
But with him, I'm like, "Hey, I might fly off the handle," but I'm like, and he might be confused. He's like, "I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, why are you mad at me?" And I'm like, "This is what I heard. Is that not what you meant?" And we can sit down and have a conversation. And something in here is making me exceptionally nauseous. Wow. But to me, we need to be able to talk to people. You need to be confident enough in yourself. And I feel like that's a big thing too, is people just don't have that confidence
Mm. Yeah.
until sometimes you just keep letting yourself get beat into the ground until you finally just don't care. And that's what happened to me is I just repeatedly just got just pummeled and just raked over the coals, and eventually I just gave up. I did not care. I didn't give a shit who you were, what you did, anything. Like, I didn't give a damn. But that doesn't happen for most people. But when I got there, my not giving a shit ended up giving me the confidence because I didn't care anymore. I was like, I'm just going to be me. And if you don't like it, go fuck a goat. And I don't know what happened in my brain, but it switched. And then when I went to therapy, and I'm really upset my lady retired, but she was really awesome. And she would be like, "Hey," and I'd talk to Bessa. She's like, "Okay." And you need to talk to someone who's also confident enough to call you on your bullshit.
Hmm.
I'll tell
Absolutely.
people. And like now I have friends where I'm like, "Hey, if I'm doing this, you need to tell me. You need to throw a flag on the play and say, 'Hey, you're being like this,' because sometimes I don't know it." And she would tell me, "We know how this goes. Everything's been going smooth. Everything's been going great. Everything's going, and now you're being like this. Are you sure you're not just trying to self implode?" And I was like, "Valid point. I get it. You still got to work on it. And it's hard work.
Mhm.
And
It
it's
is hard work.
constant all the
Yeah.
time. But just get help. It help people."
Yeah. Yeah. I say this all the time. Just be nice. You don't know what people are going through. You could be the freaking the push that somebody needs to either end it or go on a shooting spree. So and it's just like the road rage. I don't understand the road rage. Somebody makes a mistake in front of you. Oh, so I'm going to follow them. I'm going to follow them all the way home. I'm going to get in front of them and cut them off and
That,
brake check them. Yeah.
and
There's that.
I do brake check and I do tailgate.
I see freaking that shit all the time. I brake check people if they get too close to me, and then they usually back off. I brake check them, and be like, "Hey man, you go too close." That's it, and then that's the end of it. But if they're constantly on my ass, then I know there's an issue. There's something wrong in their head psychologically because they want to chase you down and they want to cause you issues because they're just I I don't. You just work on your shit, man. Just
Yeah.
be nice to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let people be weird and be weird yourself. Don't be afraid to be weird. It's
If
okay to be weird
it
because
is,
this is
it
where
really
the
is.
weird ones are.
This is cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy, but
I was pointing to you.
I know. I know.
We're all weird here. But
They all float down here.
I like it. But that's pretty much what we have. Kevin, thank you so much for being on the show. I really love having you on. Obviously, the spirits were definitely loving you today. We met a new one, Steven Stanek, which is a really interesting name. It's a Slavic
It
name.
is.
I found out, I got an update on my heritage for my DNA that I have some extra stuff. I'm very much a Irish Viking. Oh, it says please continue. Thank you. But yeah, so sometimes I wonder if it just chimes in. Yeah, that was at least polite. Please continue. But again, thank you so much. And everybody, seriously, go check out the links. Listen, subscribe. 5 stars only for this guy because that's all he deserves. Don't give him that 1 star bullshit. 5 stars all the way. I might push it up to the one after Halloween. because we discussed doing a live episode at CryptidCon. So when you're hearing
Oh.
this, it's going to be, what, a week or so? So I'll be
Hmm.
posting about being at CryptidCon, and I'm not sure what we're going to cover, what we're going to do. Maybe we could do spirit box session.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
because last time I went somewhere to an event, my hotel room was haunted.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a haunted hotel room.
Well, it was the room I was in one night, and I caught it on film. So go check out the Instagram. I think it was on my Instagram, my TikTok. I was filming the room to be like, oh, yeah, look at my room. It's so cool. And I like turned and the door started closing on its own. And I was like, okay. Then the lights were flickering off and on. So then apparently I had to do 2 separate reservations and I oopsied and got the wrong kind of room for the second one. So I had to move rooms. I was on the last room on one floor, all the way literally by the stairs, last one. Second night, they moved me, same floor, the opposite, the other very end of the hallway room.
Hmm.
And I went in there and my lights were flickering, things were turning off and on. And I was like, okay. Found out the second day from the lady at the desk who's super cool. There was a man who died in one of the bathrooms of the hotel room on the floor I was in.
Of course. Of course. Of course there
Yep.
was. Yeah.
Yep. And I set my sensors up and they went off once or twice. And yeah, so maybe we could do a spirit box, but keep your eyes and ears open, y'all, because I'm going to be hitting him up at CryptidCon. We're going to probably be doing a live show. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to make it all work, but we're going to make it happen. But again, scratching. Apparently this one's scratching. Subscribe, all of that's good stuff. But until next time, everybody, I'll see ya. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and give the show a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show and allows people to find us more easily. Also, head on over to www.patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy and subscribe to any of the tiers. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shoutouts on the pod, ad-free episodes, access to the private Discord server, quarterly appreciation gifts, and a chance to be on the show. Not to mention video versions of the episode. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some self-designed merch by me, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please send them to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experiences on a listener episode. Just make sure that you specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show and let me know whether or not you would like your real name read or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you guys all again so much for your support. Until next time, my friends. See ya.